Kia ora guys, welcome back to the Black Jersey. My name's Max, I'm the host over here at this channel, and a big thank you to my patrons as per normal. Rugby Championship season about to get started. The Springboks versus the Wallabies. It's going to be live at 3 a.m. on a Sunday here in New Zealand, but I'm going to wake up for it as I did during the Six Nations to test myself ahead of the World Cup and give that another go. So the lineups have been named, and I'm going to do a bit of a preview video, discuss my thoughts on who's made the team and everything like that, because the Springboks have sent off a split squad. There's about 15 players or so in that Springboks squad that has already landed over here in New Zealand. Whereas Eddie Jones, it is his first test match as the head coach of the Wallabies since 2005 or so. He was their former head coach back in the 2000s, took them to the 2003 Rugby World Cup final, and at long last he has returned to the role, and man, it's going to be very interesting. So first off for the Springboks, we better discuss the front row. So Stephen Kitsoff has been called in for Ox and Chair, who was ruled out due to injury. Bongi Mbanambi, no surprises to see him over at hooker. The man is the first choice in the eyes of Jacques Nienaber, and as I've said many a time, his reputation is very well deserved. Frans Malherbe, it's going to be very interesting to see what his role in defence is going to be, considering he's been the guy behind that ruck a lot of the time, with Duane Vermeulen, the captain, out injured a lot. Duane Vermeulen starting at number 8, he's the captain, because Ebony Etzebeth, Sia Khaleesi, Malcolm Marks, a lot of the other candidates, they've been part of that group that's gone off to New Zealand. Anyway though, I think one of the bigger talking points aside from Vermeulen as captain, it has to be Jean Kleyn, the lock. He's formerly an Irish player. He went to the 2019 Rugby World Cup with them, moved to Munster for the 2016 Top 14, Pro 14, whatever it was back then. It's now the URC, and now he is finally playing for the Springboks. That is the team he grew up wanting to play for. Ireland have released him. He is now debuting for the Springboks, and the loophole that World Rugby's created is being completed by Jean Kleyn. Marvin Orie, he's also going to be the guy starting a lock. So Orie is a guy that a few Springbok fans there haven't been too impressed with, so I'm going to be very interested to see how Orie goes, stepping up in the fact that Lou Diaga isn't there either. The rest of the loose forwards, Marco Van starting to open side flanker. I'm so happy this dude is wearing the 6 jersey after a bit of an injury trouble he had last year. The guy with the devastating carries and the excellent breakdown work, the jackal machine, he is coming into that starting lineup, and I'm so happy for the guy after the absolute wars he has been through. Pieter-Steph du Toit over in the blind side at 7, no surprises to see that. Du Toit does need to start getting a few more minutes, as he did miss a few their games in 2021 after the Lions series, as he was also injured. The backs though, Corbus Reinach, green like that all day, every day. Really happy to see that. And Mani Labok at 10, getting these two guys a bit of game time together, I think is going to be very good, because Labok and Reinach are probably going to go to the World Cup. So gelling those two together, creating some cohesion, is a very good idea ahead of that tournament. Kurtley Arendse, no surprises to see him on the left wing. Andre Esterhuizen though, lots of noise about that one. A lot of the South African supporters are very glad to see it. Lucanio Arm though, after a bit of an injury trouble of his own, he hasn't been sent over to New Zealand, and Jesse Creel has been sent over instead. Though Arm doesn't quite have the proper match fitness, I do think this is really like a golden missed opportunity to start Jesse Creel and Andre Esterhuizen together, as that has never been done before in the Nienaber era. Caden Moody at 14, I can't complain about that though. The guy is going to be the future of South Africa's number 15 jersey. He's just a little bit too experienced to go into 15 for now, so Villy LaRue is starting in that jersey. The bench, Joseph Dweber does kind of need to prove himself. This will be a good opportunity for him. Thomas du Toit and Vincent Koch, going to be very interesting to see how those guys go together and stuff, because, well, du Toit is a bit taller than Koch, and Koch is a very, very powerful man that's just going to tear the scrum apart, and he might make a bit of a mincemeat of those new Australian props if they aren't able to handle his pure South African beast. RJ Snyman though, I am so happy to see RJ Snyman back after all the injury. He's another piece of that South African beef I was talking about before. An excellent player back in 2019. I was really worried that his test career was over, but everything's okay. I'm glad I was wrong. Great to see him back. Evan Roos, a few people are worried about the guy's discipline, but I think he's got a lot of potential. So you know what, let's keep giving him time in Test rugby to see if he can just iron that out and just become the player he's destined to be. Dion Forey giving a bit of cover for hooker and flanker, fair enough. I mean, Dion Forey being that guy with the utility value, I mean, why would you start him when you can just have that impact and have the guy that's got the age on his side to be on the pitch for the most important dying moments? Grant Williams, nice to have some tempo on the bench as well. I mean, the guys are living highlight for crying out loud. And Damian Willemse, well, the fact that he's got that utility cover, it makes sense to keep him over here and put him on the bench and stuff against Australia, because Damian Willemse, well, that ability to cover 10 and 15, it's very useful, has been many a time. He's second for both 10 and 15 on the Ninaba era depth charts, so he deserves to be in that lineup. Anyway, guys, now that we're into halftime of the video, I want to remind you of NZ Biltong, who are the sponsor for this video. I'm doing a giveaway over on Instagram with them, so if you win the giveaway, you're getting 2 tickets to the Bledisloe Cup test over in Dunedin at Forsyth Bar Stadium. So to my South African audience members who are living in New Zealand, you might very much like to enter this giveaway. Just remember there are T's and C's in the graphic. What you get as well is some 2 beer coolers, and you also get 2 bottle openers, and of course 12 packs of assorted delicious biltong. This stuff over here, I wanted to just have a bit of a bite of it during the video and just show you guys the excellent taste of it. Like, seriously, this stuff is good. Head down to the link in the description to visit my Instagram, enter the giveaway to get this stuff, and of course the tickets to the game. T's and C's, they do apply, don't forget about them. Anyway, team, I have talked far too much about the South African lineup. We need to talk about the Australian lineup, because the Wallabies, for the first time in a long time, I truly do feel a sense of hope for them. I am not going to take back the words I said where I was predicting them to come fourth in the pool stage if Dave Rennie remained the head coach. These days, though, they have to be the favourites to top their pool at the World Cup. James Slipper, the co-captain, he didn't train during the week due to injury, but it's okay. He's back in the mix. It's all good. Dave Parecki, well, the hookers, they basically picked themselves. Parecki is the guy with the most minutes in the 2020s so far, whereas Jordan Uelese has played the most test caps, so Jordan Uelese is coming off the bench for Dave Parecki. Alan Ala-Alatoa, well, Taniela Tupou is about to come back from injury, but he's not quite ready yet, so Alan Ala-Alatoa was only really going to be the one logical choice there. Nick Frost, though, very nice. The Aussies might attempt to play a bit of expansive rugby potentially inside that first half, see if they can just weigh up the South African defence and everything like that, with a couple of those slower players like Vermeulen and of course Malherbe on the pitch. It's going to be very interesting to see that clash between Nick Frost and Jean Kleyn. Will Skelton, though, they needed to get locks back from overseas. It was a huge talking point. I'm glad they've gone through with it. And Tom Hooper, this is a very similar idea Eddie Jones has, because before he left England and got sacked undeservingly, he was trying to use Alex Dombrand and Billy Vunipola as the number 8s. He was using Alex Coles and Courtney Laws as his picks at 6 to balance the line out, whereas obviously he would still go with a specialist open side, and so he's got Tom Hooper on debut at 6, the lock 6 cover. He's got Michael Hooper as the other co-captain, the Royal veteran with 124 tests, and Rob Valentini, that big ball-carrying number 8. Awesome stuff. It's a very well-balanced pack in my opinion, and I'm really glad to see that. Nick White and Quade Cooper, well, with Jake Gordon and Noah Lolosio dropped from the team, I think the path was pretty much clear for them to be the 9-10 combo. When you're starting a tenure as a head coach, very close to a World Cup, it's smart to get the experienced players in to be the key decision makers for the team. And well, Marika Koroibete back from Japan, well, everyone said it was happening, so here we go. Good stuff. But I am so impressed by the midfield selections. Reece Hodge, who I thought would probably be getting a go at fullback potentially, or maybe being that guy to come off the bench, if not Ben Donaldson. Reece Hodge has gone to 12. Eddie Jones has not just gone back to Australia. He hasn't just forgotten all of the work he did with Owen Farrell at 12. He knows that the number 12 jersey needs to be a guy that is a second playmaker. The inside centre is dead. The second second five has been back in fashion since 2016, and Reece Hodge, before he goes overseas, that is going to be how he finishes off his career in the green and gold with Lena Ikitau outside him. The Aussies rate Lena Ikitau very highly, so fair enough that he's in there. Suliasi Vunivalu though, this is going to divide opinion there, pretty fairly, because Vunivalu is a league convert, perhaps doesn't have the kicking game that he could need, but he's a very good stepper. He's got a decent highlight reel behind him, so this is also going to be a very interesting selection, particularly as Arendse is marking him. Arendse is very hard to tackle, so I don't know how this thing's going to go though. Tom Wright, I'm not going to call him Tom Wrong this time. I'm going to call him Tom Wright. He has been given the number 15 jersey, and hopefully the fact that he's been a bit erratic throughout his career, hopefully Eddie Jones is going to coach that out of Tom Wright and turn him into the player that he always had the potential to be. For a few years, like maybe or so, I rated him, but he kind of started falling off towards the end of the Dave Rennie era, where he probably should have got a red card against the All Blacks in Melbourne last year. But you know what? Eddie Jones is a great coach. Maybe this is going to be one of those guys like James Haskell who plays his best rugby under Eddie Jones. The rest of the replacements, Matt Gibbon and Zane Nongor, who is on debut, they're the two reserve props. So as I said before, Thomas du Toit, Vincent Koch, that pure South African beef, like the stuff I was showing you before, the delicious biltong, could potentially make mincemeat of these new props, so hopefully they can stand up to the South Africans. Richie Arnold at 32 years old, making his debut over at lock. Harsh on Caden Neville, I know, but Richie Arnold coming from France, it's a good call. You needed to get guys back from overseas that played lock. Pete Samu, well, Dave Rennie trusted him to be that guy off the bench, to bring the experience for a reason, to cover 6, 7 and 8. And you know what, man? Good call. Tate McDermott as well. The clear and obvious future of the 9 jersey. There's no debate around that one. Samu Karevi though, he's recovered from injury early, which is quite interesting. He wasn't listed in the main squad when I made my video on the Wallabies before this tournament started, and so getting Karevi back from injury early is quite interesting. Potentially they're going to try and play the expansive rugby with, the Tom Hooper, like I said before, and the Reece Hodge, but if they do start getting into a bit of a pattern of a slow game, you know what, fine, try the crash ball runner and see if it works. And to finish off today's video, Carter Gordon is also going to get his debut at first 5 off the bench for the Wallabies. I'd have personally gone for Ben Donaldson in this utility role, but you know what? Eddie Jones is a smart coach. I think he knows what he's doing, and my prediction is this game is going to be very good. I'm going to go for Australia to win this by 2 points, because I do think this will come down to the wire. Eddie Jones will really want his redemption against South Africa, whereas look at all these guys in South Africa's team. Look at all these Springboks who just want to prove themselves. The Roosters, the Leboks, the Klayns, the Ories. They will just want to show Nienaber their worth, because Jacques Nienaber does not often make changes to his lineup. So you know what, guys? I'm backing you both. I just want both teams to enjoy themselves out there and get a decent hit up before the Rugby World Cup. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Remember, as I said before, check out the giveaway I've got over on Instagram. The link to my Instagram account is in the description. And thank you very much to NZ Biltong for joining me in this wee mission to send people over to the Bledisloe Cup. Remember to also check me out on the new Instagram platform called Threads. Starting to get a bit of a following over there already. Really, really cool new app. I think it's a better alternative to Twitter without a bit of the baggage and stuff that Twitter brings. Check out my website as well. It's my opinion journalism website. I do a few articles every now and again. That's some nice bonus material for you guys to read. And once more, I really appreciate you guys for visiting my channel. I'll see you later. Cheers from Max.